Alright, this is going to be a video explanation of the review and to give you some hints and some things to memorize and things to be as a point of emphasis as you go through. So I'm going to do like a section at a time. I'm probably going to focus on the odds. As I'm going through, I'm going to try to pause to let you have time to kind of answer questions or try to get your answers on your own. You can pause the video at any time as you want to copy down the information. But make sure you're listening to some of my hints because that will help you on your test. All right, so test is Friday. These are the concepts that we're going to cover. I'm just going to, oops, hold on. Let me get my pen. Sorry. All right, concepts on the test. So these little bullets here are things you need to know. You need to have memorized the information, the facts. I would see for the application of the FOIL method, this is when we're multiplying. This was the Ed puzzle she did last week. Also some practice on iExcel. And on decimals, your polynomial exit ticket. So you're going to use the method, or basically when you have to multiply a trinomial, you're just going to distribute. We need to remember how to get the equation into standard form. The standard form is when the equation, let me get my font size here, is when it's y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Remember, it has to equal to 0. So if the equation doesn't equal to 0, can you put it into 0? That's what we were just kind of working on. And make sure you know your parts of your parabola and what's your situation. So this information here, make sure you have it memorized. Okay. You can make yourself some flashcards, ask you some questions. And so here's the application of the first two bullets, multiplying polynomials. So you want the final answer in standard form. That's when we do the highest exponent to smallest exponent. Now I'm going to give you some hints, some problem solving tools on this. That's why it's important that you listen to what I'm saying. So this is a good example of a test question. It says, which expression is equivalent? This is the keyword right here, equivalent. So if I'm dealing with equivalent, basically it means I want it to be the same. All right, there's ways we can check for that. So in a situation like this, I would simplify each answer choice. So simplifying here means you would have to distribute, okay, and then combine like terms. So if I just do the first step, distributing each term, for the first one, we would get 6x squared, okay, then minus 18x, then plus 4x, and minus 12. And then right off the bat, I don't know if you noticed, but equivalent wanted to be the same as this equation, this expression, excuse me. And in this expression, we have a plus 18x, and that's a minus 18x, so that does not work. So I would go to the next one, distribute the first term. So this would be 6x times x, sorry about that, is going to give you 6x squared plus 18x. Okay, so that works. Then we're doing negative 4 times x, so that's plus 4x. But now I can stop because now it doesn't match this term because we want it to be minus. So I can go to the next one. We're distributing the 6x times x, so that's 6x squared. 6x minus 3 times that minus 3, that's minus 18x. Then I got a negative 4 times x, that's a negative 4x. And then a negative 4 times a negative 3, that makes that a positive 12. So that doesn't work. So obviously, it has to be this last answer choice. And I can show the work to verify that it's 6x squared plus 18x. Negative 4 times x is minus 4x and minus 12. So that shows that this is the exact same expression as the expression in the problem. Okay. So in the multiplying polynomials, you have to be able to distribute and still remember your exponent rules. and you have to combine like terms, all right? Um, so on the problem number 2 here, I'm just going to get you started. I want you to finish the problem. I will post a key, a partial key, like for you to check your answers. But on number 2, you need to distribute this negative 2x to each term in the first set of groupings, this first set of parentheses. So this becomes a negative 2x to the 4th power. You got to remember that's like an invisible 1 on that x, okay? Then a negative 2x times minus 6x squared makes that a positive 12x to the 3rd. So when you multiply exponents with the like bases, you add the exponents. So you just got to remember that rule from the last unit. All right, then we have minus 12x. All right, then this is not, the next term is not getting distributed. We just got plus 4x cubed. But I wanted to see if you remember, if I don't see a number in front of the parentheses, what that number is. Exactly, it's a negative 1. So we're going to distribute this negative 1 to each term. So this is going to be minus 5x to the 4. And a negative 1 times this 10x is going to be minus 10x. All right, so then from here, all we're doing is combining like terms. And we want it in standard form, so we have to basically start with the highest exponent. The highest exponent is the 4, and I have a negative 2x to the 4th power, and I have a minus. I gotta remember, keep this, or think of it as like a negative. You gotta keep the sign in front. A negative 5x to the 4th power. So when I combine that, that's a negative 7x to the 4. The next highest is the exponent of 3, so I have a 12x and a plus the 4x, 12x cubed, excuse me, plus the 4x cubed. So that is the 16x cubed. You see what we're doing here? So I want you to see if you can finish that problem. All right. Now, try it. Just check your answer with the answer on Teams. All right. Now, when we get to problems 3 through 6 here, now we're gonna use the FOIL method because we have two binomials. If you forgot what that is, the FOIL method is this acronym F, then O, then I, then L. The F means you're going to multiply the first terms together. That is the 2m times the 6m. When I multiply those together, that gives me 12m squared. You gotta remember your exponents. Then when we get to the O, I'm just going to change the color a little bit here. O is the outer terms, okay? So this is the 2m to the 1. So that's going to be plus 2m, because that would be positive. Then we do our inner terms. The inner terms, the i's for the inner terms, that's the 2 inside here. So this is a negative 3 times this positive 6m. That gives me a negative 18m. Okay. And then the last term, or the L's for the last terms, that's the negative 3 times that 1. So that's a negative 3. So then all we have to do now is we have to combine like terms. Don't forget to do that. And when we do that, we're going to end up with the 12 m squared. Then we have minus 16m minus 3. Okay, and that's our final answer. So number 4 is multiplying two binomials. You're going to use the FOIL method again. It's just that on number 4, you have to remember this parentheses with that exponent, what that means. It basically means you have two factors of your 7a minus 1. So the way I can show two factors of 7a minus 1, let me just put an equal sign, because what it means is it's equal, it's equivalent, is I'm doing 7a minus 1 like such, and then again 7a minus 1. So then from there, I can use the FOIL method. Okay, see if you can finish this problem. Okay, don't forget to combine your like terms in the box your final answer. All right, so on number 5, I want to show you a shortcut or a way to check your work to help you with your problem solving with your calculator. So the minute I see which expression is equivalent, equivalent is the keyword, I'm looking for the answer choice that would be the same as this expression, 3x to the third plus 4x minus 15. So in order to do that, I need to do the FOIL of each one. So I'm going to show you what you could do. Let's say you're not confident in your skill of using the FOIL method. So you go through, you work it out. Okay, so then I'm just going to do the FOIL. So FOIL means we're multiplying the first terms together. So that would give me 3x squared. The outer terms, that is 5x. The inner terms, negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x. And the last term, negative 3 plus 5, when I multiply, that's negative 15. What I need to do to check, I have, and I forgot my exponent on this, I did this wrong, because it was in, oh, there's a typo. This definitely has a typo, sorry, let's fix that. This has to have x squared, not x to the third, sorry. Now it matches up. Okay, because we want a quadratic trinomial, quadratic is the exponent too. So what I'm going to check right off the bat is combining these like terms. And when I combine that, this is going to leave me with a negative 4x. So I know it doesn't match what I have. Okay, so I can check the next answer choice. X times 3x. That's going to give me 3x squared. X times minus 5. That's going to be minus 5x. 3x. 3 times 3x. That's going to be plus 9x. And 3 times minus 5 is negative 15. Now, when I combine these together, I do get a positive 4x. So this would work, okay? Because you would end up with 3x squared plus 4x minus 15, right? And so that is our answer. Because we want the expression that's going to be the same as what is given in the problem. So this is what I was going to tell you could do with your calculator to check your work. Or just check each answer choice. So what you need, and it's probably, I gotta turn my calculator on, sorry about this. Hold on. Okay. Alright, so let me go back to what I was gonna show you. So the way you set this up to check is the given expression right here, the 3x, let me get my little pencil. This right here, this 3x squared plus 4x minus 15. This is gonna represent your y1. Okay, so we're gonna put that in the calculator as y1, so go y1. Go to y equals, let me clear this one out. We're going to type in our 3x squared plus 4x minus 15, okay? And the way you're going to have to check is by looking at the graph, because if your graphs turn out to be the same, then it is equivalent, okay? So if I look at this graph, there it is, boom, okay? For it to be the same, and this is something you did on the, you should have recognized, because I did stress it, I think, in my video explanation. On the polynomial exit of when you type in your answer, it had to fit on the graph to determine if it was right or not. So we have an answer choice here. We just worked it out, but we picked this answer choice B, which is in factor form. So we're going to type that in y2, okay? So if you go to the calculator, go to y equals, I'm going to come down, and I'm going to do my grouping. So I'm going to use my parentheses. I'm going to type in x plus 3, close the parentheses, and open up the parentheses, and now do 3x minus 5, and close it. And then you hit graph. And if the graph is literally the same parabola, the same line, the same whatever, like it's on top of each other, then that is equivalent. It's showing it's the same. So this is just a method you could use if you're not confident with your FOIL or your work. It's just or a way to check. Let's see if you are confident. You should always check your work. It's just a way to check to see that you're doing it correctly. Okay. So So 6, no answer choices here, but you're still going to use the FOIL method. And the only difference, the thing you need to kind of remember is the first one's going to be the same. 5a times a is 5a squared. But when I multiply 5a times this minus 4b, we have two variables, the a and the b. You're going to just write that as negative 20a, b. You're just going to write both variables, okay? So see if you can finish this one, okay? See if you can finish this one. And check it with the key on teams, right? We got some more multiplying on the next page. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about this one because this is multiplying a binomial 2 terms by a trinomial 3 terms. You're going to have to just do one term at a time. So the x is the first term. I'm multiplying it by the x squared. And then remember, add your exponent. So this is going to be x to the third power, okay? And we're doing x times this 4x, so that's going to be plus 4x squared. And then x times this minus 10, that's a negative 10x. So then I'm going to go to the second term, which is negative 5. Don't forget that sign in front. Multiply by x squared, that's going to be a negative 9x squared. Negative 9 times 4, that's going to be plus 36x. Oh, sorry, not plus. Minus 36x. And then we have a negative 9 and a negative 10. That's going to be a positive 90. So the last thing we have to do here is just combine like terms. Always go from highest exponent to smallest. Our highest exponent is the x cubed. And there are no other x cubed. So that means we're starting off with x to the third power. The next highest is the squares, the 2. I have a 4x2. And then over here I have a minus 9x2. So when I combine that, that's a negative 5x to the second power. Then the next thing I have are x's. I have a negative, and we got to keep that sign in front. I have this negative 10x, and this negative 36x, so it becomes a negative 46x. And then our last one is our constant, which is plus 90. And then there is our answer, okay? So, you're going to distribute, or we can use our shortcut. Now, a couple things, because we just did the one previously, to help me work smarter, not harder. Whenever I multiply 2 terms times 3 terms, it turns into a total of 4 terms, you see here. So, that means I probably can eliminate A and B. But let's just do the math here. So, we're doing x times this 2x squared. That's 2x. Oh, let me go over. So, make some room. That's 2x to the third. We're doing x times this minus 3x. That's a negative 3x squared. And we're doing x times 1. That's plus x. And we're going negative 3 times this 2x squared. So that's negative 6x squared. Then we're doing negative 3 times a negative 3x. That's positive 9x. And a negative 3 times 1. So that's a negative 3. So now we're just combining like terms. But we see right here, the highest exponent is cubed. So yeah, we can eliminate A and B because they have an exponent of 2. And again, it should have 4 terms here. The next thing I got to check is combining the like terms of the negative 3x squared and the negative 6x squared. So that's going to make that a negative 9x squared. And that means that would have to be C because this one has positive 9x squared. Again, if you're not sure, and you want to check your work, we're going to have to type in the original problem, which is this with the parentheses, as our y1, and type in our answer choice as y2. So like if you guess, like I'll show you, like if we're checking off each answer choice, you can see when it's not. So let me just show you how that looks. You go to y equals. You go to y1, I'm going to clear these out. So y1, I'm putting in the answer choice, or the original problem. It's parentheses x minus 3. And in the other parentheses, we have 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. Close the parentheses. And y2, let's say I put in answer choice 1, which is 2x squared plus 9x minus 3. And if I graph them, see, not even the same graphs. This is the first one is blue. That's the first graph. This is the second. They don't match. They're not equivalent. Okay? So I'm going to change and check my answer choice, what you just said with C. So we're doing 2x to the third power. Arrow to the right, we're going to say minus 9x equals to times minus 9x squared, then plus 10x. Oh, I didn't say x squared, sorry. Okay. Hopefully it works. 9x squared plus 10x, and then minus 3. And then we hit graph. Okay. And then, yeah, it's the same thing. Now, if you don't have this calculator at home, remember we can still use our decimals calculator. And let me get to that real quick. Hold on. Limit pause. All right, so for the decimals calculator, you can log in if you want to. It's just, it will save your work if you do. You have the option to save your work. You just want to open the graphing calculator right here. And so remember, we can type in our function. Oops, sorry. You can delete that. We can type it as y equals, and I'm gonna see. I might have to. Yeah. So y. Oh, hold up. I might have to do f of x. Hold on. There it goes. Y, and then we have the equal signs. All right, so we're gonna type in. We're gonna use parentheses here. We have x minus 3. Where's my x? And then minus 3. I'm gonna close parentheses, open it up again, and we're gonna have our 2x. There's your x squared. Remember, you can x squared by doing shift. I think it's 6. And then we have minus 3x, and then plus 1. Alright, so there's the graph right there, okay? So what I can do is I can just type in the second, our answer choice. So I'm going to go to y equals here. And we're going to do 2x cubed. Yeah. So 2x. To do a higher exponent than a square or 2, we're going to hit this button and get that subsquare. Then we're going to arrow to the right. And we have to put in minus 9x squared. I believe it is, yep. And then we have to type in, I'm going to arrow to the, oh, it's already there to the right, plus the 10x. And it's showing me how the graph is changing as I make each change. And then our last thing is we're going to put minus 3. And you can see this, it's on top of the graph. Okay, so you can use your decimals calculator if you don't have a calculator at home. Right? So that pretty much takes care of your multiplying polynomials. All right. Remember to check your work and your answer on the key on Teams. Thank you for doing this first page. Now I'm going to go into this video for the next section.